Hi, colleagues. Good day, everyone. My name is Dmitry. I'm Chief Technology Officer at SecurityGen. We are the company, we develop tools to protect 5G and 4G networks. And today the presentation is about threat-informed defense. What is this and why it is important for telecom infrastructures? I will brief you through. So let's start. We will start with the problem definition. Mobile network operators, unfortunately, today lack of adequate security oversight. According to our data from offensive security audits, up to 80% have difficulty detecting attacks on their infrastructure. One reason to this is partially due to the fact that security has been always IT-focused discipline, not intentionally, but historically. And as a result, the available knowledge, processes, tools are hardly sufficient to address issues in telecom domain. At the same time, we hear that communication service providers they face increasingly severe challenges related to cybersecurity threats, and the cost of the incident is always increasing. Additionally, while MNOs are actively trying to gain control using firewalls, monitoring systems, still, from cybersecurity point of view, the effectiveness of these protection measures remain low to moderate at best. In summary, the complexity of LTE and 5G infrastructures today significantly broadened the cybersecurity threat landscape, and the list of actions to be taken to resolve and address these challenges is quite extensive, which underscores the importance of acting wisely and prioritizing security measures. Given that for some organizations, addressing cybersecurity challenges is already a pressing need, for some others, it is an inevitable task that's approaching. MNOs have already today solid reasons to implement security measures. Similarly, I must say that owners and users of private mobile networks should also prioritize protection from cyber incidents because attacks on infrastructure can easily disrupt services and business operations, which I think you can agree present unacceptable risks. So, the focus of this speech is threat-informed defense for 5G and 4G infrastructures. The entire idea is built around using the knowledge about threats to implement effective defenses. This means deploying such type of defenses and processes that will address threats which are relevant, real, and of high priority. The solution that we propose tackles the following three tasks. Number one, to detect dangerous activity in the network, such as unusual traffic or attempts to exploit vulnerabilities. For those of you from the roaming world, we can cite examples like signaling traffic and control plane attacks. I guess you're all aware of. The second activity is to provide rapid response via integration with available enforcement systems like firewalls. This is to help to disrupt the kill chain before any negative impact occurs. And the final one, to ensure the continuous readiness by assessing the infrastructure to verify threats and prioritize security activities. Let me show you a picture and give an example. Here is an MNO with infrastructure, clients, subscribers, and B2B customers, and an ecosystem of services probably created with partners. And we have a bad guy, motivated by various factors such as financial gain, disruption, maybe even ideological beliefs. And this leads us to $1 million question that actually fuels a $150 billion cybersecurity industry. How do we protect, and what are the efficient strategies and defenses? Let's start with a very common approach for MNOs, the standard and compliance-based security. This is when organizations try to align their security strategies with established standards and specifications. You can name ISO, 3GPP, etc. We often assume, by the way, that vendors and integrators, they also follow the same standards. In the oversimplified way, this approach primarily focuses on adhering to a set of guidelines and recommendations rather than understanding the specific threats. And this approach absolutely necessary and must be followed. However, we know that reality often differs significantly from the blueprint. So there is another approach, which is called the preventive defense. This approach focuses more on preventing attacks before they occur, and the emphasis here is on creating a robust defenses against a very wide range of potential attacks. I must say that this approach used to work quite well in the past. Unfortunately, it is quite effort intensive and costly, and it seems that merely building walls is no longer efficient strategy. Partially due to this is due to the complication that adversaries, they are very much widespread today, and one might already be inside the organization, possibly having compromised one of the partners in the ecosystem. So if the attack occurs somewhere within the realm of IT infrastructure, security team might catch it using tools like antiviruses, XDRs, IDS, CM systems, and so on. However, if the attack happens outside of Windows domain, in areas such as OSS, BSS, NFVI, transport or core network, the adversaries, they could easily disappear in the dark waters of telecom assets. This is MITRE 5G hierarchy of threats. It's a kind of encyclopedia for understanding adversarial tactics relevant for telecoms. The latest version illustrates 144 methods that hackers can use to gain access to the network, evade defenses, compromise various systems, steal data, cause significant impact. And as you can see, this is quite a lot of challenges to take care of. And we in SecurityGen, we continuously expand our abilities to detect, mitigate, and verify these threats. So far, about 83 methods are already covered, which constitutes to about 60% of all the total. And most of these are very likely exploitable. I must say that this approach isn't something super new, and in IT security, threat-informed defenses, it's actually quite a known approach. In telecommunications, with its specifics and sheer size, I think that implementing this approach is very much reasonable, and we are dedicated to make it more accessible and effective. So far, we haven't found a better way to handle this, but to take all the threat-related information that we have from multiple sources, like telecom-specific research or threat vectors, or incident analysis, forensic investigations, vulnerability testing. Then we process it to create the telecom-specific threat intelligence to store in a consumable form. And this is the knowledge base which is utilized in activities like identifying suspicious and hazardous activity in the network, to create the alarms regarding these issues, communicate incidents towards the systems that can be used for mitigation. And by the way, the same knowledge we use for breach attack simulation in mobile networks. Let's take another look at the picture and dig into the more details on the infrastructure level. Here we have, say, the external networks like IPX, switching and routing devices, other network functions, and different applications. This is where we actually deploy the threat monitoring modules, mainly at the perimeter, and it is also possible to put within the network. So should the bad guys initiate any kind of activities, we stand the chance to detect it. And then we communicate this information in form of alarms to security event management or automation and response systems, which will then propagate it further to the systems in place where some actions can be taken to block the attacker or to isolate them. Moreover, if there is an integration with the network nodes like firewalls is available, the threat detection system can actually send direct instructions for the actions to be taken. And this approach on practice significantly enhances the efficiency of the network defenses, not only enabling them to better withstand attacks, but also to protect the network against threats which were not visible before. And this is something what happens during the attack. On the calm days, sunny days, when the network is not under attack, there is a good time to do training exercises and preparations. So this is when, during these periods, we will put the special modules of breach and attack simulation into the network. And these modules, they act as a bad guy attempting to hack the network to a limited extent. And the goal of this is to test and identify exploitable vulnerabilities in the network, because it helps not only to understand the current security posture of the network, but also to check the efficiency of our detection and mitigation processes in place. So these simulations, they create training alarms, initiate training blockades, and should we miss any of these simulated illegitimate activities, well, it indicates that potential breach may happen, which means that we need to evaluate how we manage and address this situation better next time. So this is in general how it works on the technical side, and I hope I've been able to explain how the threat-informed defense works and how it can be applied to telecom infrastructures. Now, regarding the business model, our threat detection and prevention system is typically available in the usual form of, let's say, on-premises mode, which is most common for MNOs. Today, 9 out of 10 deployments are happening this way, mostly on virtualized infrastructures, but on premises. You can receive almost the same deliverables in form of telecom security monitoring as a service. This is in case if you prefer not to run and manage the system and the software yourself. And lastly, back in 2022, we introduced the breach and attack simulation platform, which is software as a service model. So it's available via the subscription. As of now, our threat-informed defense as a solution available in different forms and implemented in 16 networks. And our aim is to onboard at least 10 more networks this year. The plan further is to conduct pilots for private mobile networks and expand the amount of use cases to introduce more coverage for the internal traffic analysis, because this is not only of interest for network owners and users, but also highly requested by MNOs. Some of them, they recognize the value in adding the security proposition to their B2B customer offerings. But as of now, thank you very much for your time and attention. Thank you, and see you later. Bye-bye.